It was good, Malcolm. I hope you're doing good out there. Thanks for the support. I hope you're doing good. You feel me? Just stay safe out there.
Hey everyone, be sure to watch Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlon, a close friend of mine, and I'm sure this show is gonna be great. I can't wait to guest on it myself, so be sure to watch and subscribe, and always like every video and hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss a video. Peace out.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Spoon and rice, you know, this is really, as I've said, the most authentic place to come for Filipino street food. Spoon and rice. Hi guys, welcome to another week of Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlon. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you again. You know, it's been a really busy day in my house. We've been getting ready for the football, this most historic event. The last time that the England reached any final of any world competition was more than 55 years ago. And, you know, although I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive, I'm wishing England the very best of luck in their upcoming match. And I know there's going to be so many people cheering them. I know members of my family are getting ready to go to their favorite bar and to celebrate as well. So whatever you're doing, you know, let's all get behind England. Congratulations to them in advance for reaching the final. It was also nice to see a message from Her Majesty the Queen as well, wishing England every success, as well as many other celebrities, etc. as well. You know, I'm really happy to be joining you on today's episode of Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlon. You know, it's a real pleasure to be here virtually, even through this new platform that we're trying today. It's a great pleasure. And you know what? We're supposed to be having my dear friend Joshua Debatos is supposed to be joining us from the Philippines, from Cebu, in fact. But I think there might be some technical issues with his internet signal back home in his province, so he may join us via an audio link. Let's go ahead and wait for that anyway. Without much further ado, I'd like to thank my sponsors, World Remit, Spoon and Rice, Comfort Healthcare. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you for your continued sponsorship. it was really nice to see the celebrations at Spoon and Rice in Box Park, Wembley. Basically, they're using my favorite song, if you like, Sweet Caroline. I'm a massive, lifelong Neil Diamond fan, and Sweet Caroline has become the anthem for the England team whenever they are playing. So I was watching from Box Park, Wembley, and the guys at Spoon and Rice, and basically they were playing Sweet Caroline, which was really awesome to see. I'd also like to thank Comfort Healthcare and, of course, World Remit. You know, not only can you send money to the Philippines with World Remit, you can send money to 180 other countries as well. It's very easy. You just download the World Remit app, and sending money is as easy as 3 clicks. You know, it's just really, really quick. Whenever I send money back home to my family in the Philippines, it's such an easy process, and I then get a message. Oh, wow. And we have Josh. Hi, Josh. How you doing?
Hey everyone, hey Mal. I'm doing great, and I'm doing this contingency just to really be on the show today. Unfortunately, we're having issues with the internet, so immediately I had to drive up because I'm actually living in a somehow valley, so I don't have mobile signal. And fixed internet is down. I hope I'm making connection clear, but this is the best that I can make for today's show. But this is gonna be an exciting show, all the same. I'm doing great, Mal. How about you? I know that I'm a few minutes late, but this is gonna be an exciting episode at Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlan. I'm finding the lead.
Josh, you're in your car. I really can't believe the effort that you've gone to. I'm very, very grateful. It's really nice to have you. And just tell everyone exactly where you are in the Philippines for all our viewers watching.
Actually wanted to greet everybody in my native language. Maayong gabi sa inyong tanan. Good evening to everyone. I'm here in Cebu, Philippines, the place in the Philippines where you'd feel that things are starting to go back to normal. I hope you guys are all safe and well at home.
Yeah, everyone's looking forward to the football, Josh. As you probably know, maybe from social media, England are playing tonight at 8 p.m. UK time in their historic final at Wembley Stadium, where I've worked many times as part of the medical team there. So I'm rooting for everyone there, and of course, let's hope we bring home the trophy, and of course, it doesn't wing its way to Rome somehow. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's excited for the games, the upcoming games, and a lot of Filipino fans are as well. There's a lot of Filipinos who are a fan of the England news squad. So for sure you'll have audiences from this part of the globe now.
Exactly, it has been an exciting competition. I have to say, I think this is England's best ever chance. You know, the big favourites like Germany have been knocked out. We've always had this hurdle when it comes to playing against Germany, and once or twice we've kind of really come up against them and we haven't quite made it. So for them to be knocked out in the early stages, and of course Spain and all the other big names, I'm not saying that's a bad thing for us. I think that gives us a great opportunity. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. Let's hope England can score 4-0, but I think it might be 1-1, and maybe we might win on penalties. But let's see. But I'm still looking forward to it. I'm not a massive football fan, but I'm certainly rooting with my family for this particular episode.
For sure. They will definitely bring home the bacon.
Exactly right. It's kind of funny because when they were playing against Denmark, I did the same thing. I said they'll bring home the bacon, bearing in mind the Denmark, if you like, Danish bacon. So that was my kind of tagline, if you like. And of course, I was watching that game, and of course, we beat Denmark as well. Anyway, for those of you who don't happen to enjoy football, the fact is, I know so many people do. Let's move on to today's show. How do you find the new platform first, Josh?
I love it. It's livelier, I must say, and for sure our audiences, we will be able to interact with you more in this new platform. I'm actually fancied here. It's very good. I like the colors.
Yeah, it's nice. And you know what? We're going to have rooms for chat boxes. We're going to be able to invite people and see who's watching, and it'll be a lot more interactive. Anyway, let's
Right.
move on to today's show. I'm really, really excited to have a very dear friend of mine joining us today, who's a full-time NHS healthcare professional. Not only that, she's a busy working mum as well. So she has so many things that she's doing, but yet she's given us time today. She's also a vlogger, a host, and very much a very prominent member of the Filipino community in the United Kingdom. So, Josh, I'm just going to move across to Jen right now, Jhen Papa-Florida. Oh no, we have her on the screen as well, which is fantastic. Wonders of modern technology. Hi, Jen. How are
Hi,
you?
Malcolm. Hi, Josh. Thank
Hey,
you for
Jen.
having me today.
It's an
Really
honor.
cool, you know.
I know you got a very busy schedule, and squeezing in Pusong Pinoy into your schedule is such a big feat for you this weekend.
No, I'm actually really honored to be part of this show. I'm really proud of you guys that you're doing this platform in order to reach people, and I'm sure you've got very good content, and we can do this today. I hope I can share something sensible.
You know, we're really looking forward to this opportunity, and you know, this is, as I said, this is the first time that we've used this new platform. So I'd encourage all my friends to be able to share, to be able to promote, and of course, let's concentrate on Filipino culture. Kind of that's what the show is about. So that'll be awesome. Josh, firstly, Jen, I'm sure you can speak Tagalog, or can you speak Bisayan, or let us
Yes,
know.
I can. I am from Imus, Cavite, so I speak
Kenya.
Tagalog. Yeah.
So
I,
magandang gabi sa iyo, Jen, and maraming salamat for being in the show. Mal, do you mind if we speak in Tagalog?
Please
It's a bit
go ahead, by all means. It'd be great.
actually. I know, Jen, for the audiences as well, Mal has been doing some Tagalog lessons. So from time to time, Mal might insert some of the new words or phrases he might.
wow.
So
Really
how have
impressive,
you?
Mal.
Very impressive. Mal has been a very busy guy. If you watch his Facebook page, he's all around, mostly
Oh,
in
yeah.
Jollibee. So, musta how are things? Kumusta ka dyan sa UK, and how are you coping? How are you coping with the current pandemic?
Yeah, so thanks, Josh. Generally, I'm well and good, thank God, and we're all healthy. So now that the lockdown is easing up, so may mga plans kami like tomorrow we're gonna go somewhere out of London, which is I'm really looking forward to kasi that will be our first family holiday. Yes. What about you? Kamusta
Well,
naman dyan sa Pilipinas, sa Cebu?
dito sa Cebu is actually parang normal. Unlike other places in the Philippines who are still experiencing some ECQs or heightened restrictions, Cebu is pretty much able to go out. I mean, people here in Cebu can go out and about. Beaches are open. For sure, you missed the beaches here in the Philippines.
Oh,
So our
yeah.
audiences today are actually listening and wanting to know what's your story, what's your Pusong Pinoy story being in the UK. If you can tell us about how long you've been in the UK, and what are the things that you have experienced so far, the highlights of your life in the UK.
Oh gosh, that would be a long story. But obviously, syempre, sa mga nanonood with our audience, I've been in the UK for almost 12 years now. I came October 2009. So that was when I graduated from nursing. Yun yung mga time na uso yung student visa. So I was one of those students na nag-aral ulit dito. I did my master's degree here. And I work at the same time. So, ako yung medyo long cut. Ngayon kasi mga nurses is from the Philippines. They will just take the exam. And once you pass those exam, you'll get an employer. Nung time namin, pahirapan.
Huh?
Um, you have to study, and then you are only allowed to work 20 hours per week, and then you have
Wow.
to pay for another tuition fee, which is really hard to do kasi I was culture shock. No, iba din the education system in here. Sa atin kasi 'di ba parang uso yung mga identification, multiple choice in terms of exams. So, it's by the book. Dito you really
That's
have
very
to research, and they are very particular with essays, with
yeah.
coursework, with dissertation. So sabi ko, ano ba 'tong pinasok ko?
For
I
sure, at
really
that
feel
time you were nagano ka, nangangapa ka, like the
yes.
challenges of a new culture, and also being like the financial part of it, having to study at the same time and then work at some point. So this is actually very timely kasi when you share that, it might be a source of inspiration for those Filipinos who are able to go to the UK now. Like unfortunately, we are in a pandemic, but it actually is bringing some good things to those who are in your career as well in the health, because like ako, I know a few people who are able to easily go to the UK right at this time, like
Mhm.
like in the years when during your years going to the UK, mahirapan
Yes.
as earlier. And I remember that there was a time na there was a really scarce opportunity for the
Mm.
nurses to be able to go abroad. So a good inspiration for those who are here or who are in the UK. I wouldn't say
Mm.
here because I'm in Cebu, but who are in the UK now in this time. Like, what are the stories that the most difficult part when you were there, other than the balancing of school and then work? Maybe for those who are also here in the UK now. What would be the
Yeah. Kasi during
good
that
inspiration?
time, I was very young. Wow, kala mo naman sobrang tanda na. But medyo matanda na. And then I wanted to prove something to myself. So sabi ko, I really need to do this. So nandun dapat yung passion when you wanted to achieve something. Kasi yung goal ko nun is to work abroad and to be independent. Kasi I was very
Mhm.
sheltered sa Philippines. Alam mo naman, yung family natin nandyan. But when
True.
I was here, oh my gosh, hindi ko in-expect yung grabing struggles. And you have to be prepared. And you need to have that siguro I would say faith that you would
Mm-hmm.
lean on, that na to keep you going. Kasi kapag there comes to a point na parang sabi ko, Lord, gusto ko nang umuwi. Yung nagna-night shift ako noon, and then
Ah,
instead na magbe-break ako, ginagawa ko yung coursework ko. And gusto ko
hirap
na
nun.
talaga i-drop yung masters na yan. Sabi ko, ano ba 'to? Ano ba 'to, talaga nasubo ko. Yun, so kailangan dedicated ka. You need to have support group. Kasi
Mm-hmm.
kalaban mo din ang homesickness when you're alone. Kasi mag-isa ko lang when I went here. I have no friends, I have no family.
Uh-huh.
So, medyo malakas ang aking fighting spirit that time.
And
But I
for
wouldn't,
sure, like,
yeah,
nakaya mo siya for the past.
nakaya ko siya. I wouldn't say na hindi ako
No?
nanghina.
Ah,
Nahina din ako. But yeah, I kept praying, and then I continued to pursue what I really wanted. And then sabi ko, Lord, at the first place, I have to go back to my why. Why did I go here? Why do I need to do this? And then from that one, yun. Sige, diretso lang. Push lang ang laban.
nice. I love the story, Mal, because right at this point, a lot of those, like, even though it's easy to go to the UK for the nurses right now, mas mahirap ngayon because we're experiencing a pandemic.
Mm.
Leaving the Philippines in a pandemic would be very hard. Twice as difficult, I must say. Especially for the nurses who just landed in the UK, they might have left their families with the worries that the pandemic is bringing, and then they are there in the UK away from the family. Like ikaw, for your case, Jen, saan ka umuhugot? Where are you trying to draw your strength? Like just the worries of your families here sa Pilipinas.
Yeah, siguro I would say sila din naman yung my inspiration. So I always look back what 'di ba nga, as I said, I always go back to my why am I here? And whenever I think that it's for my family, it's really what I wanted to do. So that keeps the fire burning. And also I do pray kasi wala naman tayong ibang panghuhugutan. And how would I say? I found my family here. Yung nung single pa ako, when I don't have my own family yet, I have my church family and I have my Filipino community. I went there and yun, nagkaroon ng mga friends, and from there parang ano na lang din, may mga support na din ako na nakuha, and that keeps me going.
Nice. That's really lovely. And Mal, we'll talk about how you started your own family in the UK and your Filipino community support. For sure, you met Mal in that Filipino community. So Mal, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Josh. You know, we've got so many exciting things to talk about. I'd like to go back a bit and talk about the Filipino nurses as well, and of course how hard it's been, particularly for them to come to the UK right now. But not only that, how much they miss their families and they're not able to go back home to the Philippines. But before we do that, we'll take a break and we'll see you as soon as we get back with Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlan. Thank you.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Spoon and rice, you know, this is really, as I've said, the most authentic place to come for Filipino street food. Spoon and rice. Hi guys, and we're back, and I'd like to really congratulate everybody behind our new format of our show. We've been running for such a long time now, in fact more than a year, which is absolutely awesome. I'd like to thank Wild Remit as well, Comfort Healthcare and Spoon and Rice. Jen, just a quick question before we ask some really brilliant show that we're having today. This is really excellent. Have you been to Spoon and Rice or any Filipino restaurants in the UK?
Oh yes, we did one time when they just started, but not in Bucks part. That's when they do have the food stoves.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Boxcraft is awesome because it's really nice. There's such a nice atmosphere. You know, it's like you're back home in the Philippines. You know, you can sit down on one of the tables. You have the food delivered to you. You know, you've got the music. You've got sometimes live music. And of course, I do think they're the best, most authentic street food, if you like, that we have here in the UK. So hopefully one time we can go down there and maybe make a blog.
I know. Yes, we can do that, Mal. That's a very good idea.
Thanks so much to Josh. You were talking before the break about your story, not necessarily your love story, but how you managed to settle here, you know, the challenges, and also, in fact, people back home in the Philippines, they need to understand there are so many scammers who would try and
Oh, yeah.
convince you to become involved with somebody, try and form a relationship. There'd also be lots of Brits here who would promise that they have a house and they have a world, and a Filipino would come over here and find out they don't have anything and they're living in a council flat, you know? Tell me about
Yeah.
your particular story and how things have been for you, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, no worries. So funny because I'm reading the comments as well. They're interested with the love story.
Exactly.
but but anyway, so my story of coming here, I actually well, we do have an agency. As I said, I used to be a student here, so I study masters in health and social care management. And during that time, we have to pay the big amount for the agency because I really wanted to go abroad. I mean, when I was 4 years old, I said I wanted to go to England. I don't know why, because and then when this student visa was a thing during, I think 2000, between 2007, 2008, 2009, I said to my mom, "Mom, I really wanted to go to London." Although my dad was a bit hesitant, he was saying to me, "Don't go there. There are lots of massacre." He tried to discourage me because he wanted me to pursue my degree in medicine. But I said I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to be independent. So we've decided to enroll in a school. So you first of all, one piece of advice in terms of, like, if you wanted to go, find a legitimate agency and make sure that you check it on what do you call that one, the Philippine Overseas and POEA, the OWA, to make sure that that agency is legitimate, because there, as you said, there are lots of scammers. They're taking advantage of Filipinos. They're taking advantage of Filipino nurses. You don't need to pay anything. The agency will provide it for you unless you are going to study.
Completely right. There's also an issue as well, as you probably know yourself. You know, as I've said so many times, there are 2 billion users on Facebook. And, you know, there just aren't enough humans, if you like, to check out posts. So as much as I try personally to report a lot of the fake profiles, the fake groups, you know,
Yeah.
they're really prolific and they're out there all the time. And I've heard some nightmare stories of Filipinos who've been scammed out of absolutely thousands of pounds. And what people also need to understand is there are some fake Philippine embassy pages, and there are also some fake OWA pages, some fake Polo pages as well. People need to understand that. So what I'd encourage all our Kababayan watching is actually to contact us. You know, anyone who sends me a message or something like that, I will definitely look into it. And I'm sure you would do the same. If anyone was to get in touch with you, you could basically give information. Anyway, going back to your love story, so many comments about this.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Tell us how you met and how do you find the time, what with your studying, how did you actually find the time to kind of get into a relationship, you know, to kind of settle down here? What was your particular route and what advice could you give to others?
Wow. This love story is gonna be open in public. No, I'm joking. Well, anyway, how would I start? Well, I've been single for quite a while, but I've been on with a different relationship, which is not very great. And I think I met my husband on in Colchester. So that's where I was moved from London to Colchester. He was my workmate, and we were not really talking to each other. Actually, he doesn't talk to me. He doesn't speak to me. He just look at me, glance at me, and then bye. We've never spoken until after a year. So we're not, but most of our friends were like matchmaking us. But he tends to, how will I say, avoid me at all cost. And then just one particular time that I asked for help from him. that was when I needed to get my car in London to move to Colchester because I don't know how to drive during that time. And I asked him a favor, and that that created give us a. You see, I'm sweating.
No, no, it's good. It's good. People are asking, and people are thanking me for getting this out. You know,
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting all these comments now.
It was a bit chilly in here, but I'm sweating to share this love story. Because my husband will say, "Oh, you have a voodoo doll, that's why." But yeah. After that one, we became friends, which was never expected because, as I said, we were not really talking to each other, and so we became friends. And how would I say? And then the rest is history.
No, that's awesome, and I think
Yeah.
I think you're really a super mum. There's no doubt about it. You know, you've got your studies, you've got your work, you've got your hosting, of course, your time with TFC as well. We'll move on to speak to Josh again. I'm sure he's got some more questions, but in the meantime, can you tell us a little bit about what advice you would maybe give to mums out there who basically want to pursue a career as well as raise a family, etc.?
Yes, for all the moms like me or those who have a family like me, I know there are obviously some single moms out there as well. You need to just continue what you're doing. I know our strength is our children, and if you still wanted to pursue something for yourself, if you doubt yourself, just trust the process. I know that you can still go there because it came to a point where I thought, oh my gosh, I'm a mom already. I cannot do the things that I want. I might not be able to reach my goals. But then it's also from a friend of mine who advised me that, you know what, you can still do it. It doesn't matter where you are right now. Just continue doing what you love and you'll get there.
That's awesome. Josh, can you take anything from that as well?
Yeah, actually, this is a very inspiring story because for Jen's case, she actually tried to establish a new life of her own in the UK. And for those Filipinos who just also moved to the UK or any other country, in that case, we also find really good, inspiring stories from Jen and meeting her partner or partner at her workplace.
Yeah.
But
That
you
one is
guys,
really a shock to me, a shock.
like you didn't expect that it would reach that far, like being able to build your own family.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I was alone here, and then I've also prayed for like a family of my own because it can be really, how will I say, lonely, being alone in abroad. So
In the
imagine
foreign,
you going home without someone or without a family. That
yeah.
makes you like you just wanted to give up. So I said I really wanted a family of my own where when I go home I will look forward to like my kids, my
Mhm.
husband, something like that.
So how do you keep your Filipino connection alive while in the UK? Like other than meeting your kababayans in communities, I'm seeing a lot of your pictures. You're involved in a lot of kapamilya and some activities from
Oh yes.
a Philippine.
I have a friend of mine. I hope he's watching. His name is Kuya RC. He is the one who told me that I am capable of vlogging. During that time, I said, "How? Why will I vlog? What will I vlog and all that?" Tapos, sabi niya, "No, you're interesting. Your laugh, your chit chat. You have a lot of things to say or to share." So sabi ko, sige nga, itry ko mag-vlog. And then, I think during that time, my content was to go to Filipino restaurants, to promote Filipino restaurants.
Mhm.
So, I went to Filipino restaurants here in the UK, even yung mga supper clubs, ganyan, food stalls. So, that's where it started. And I tried to research as well yung mga Filipino community. And then, yun, nakakatuwa kasi meron palang mga Filipino restaurants here that's not very known. Pero ngayon, mas madami na sila. But during that time, medyo konti pa lang. And that's where I also met Malcolm. Sabi ko sa kanya, I'm doing a vlog with the Filipino restaurants, and then he said he's also very much into Filipino community. And then he introduced me to other Filipino community. I asked Malcolm for help kasi I also work with TFC. So, on my vlog, na-discover din ako ng TFC. Well, na-discover. Hindi naman na-discover, but nag-ask sila ng host. So, I auditioned for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exciting. And how long have you been with TFC being one of their hosts?
Almost 3 years now.
That's so good. That's so
Yeah.
good. So for our audiences tuned in right now, Jhen is a familiar face, especially for those who are TFC subscribers. And also in this new platform, Mal, you mentioned that we can interact with our audiences, and we would like to really explore that option for those who are tuned in now. Please do share the story of Jhen as we are having this conversation. For sure, marami kayong mapupulot na aral galing sa story ni Jhen, even if you're not in the UK, elsewhere in the Philippines, in the world, because Mile has a strong followers of Filipino overseas workers. So Mal, this is a really good conversation, and I'm loving the vibe of our new platform.
Yes, it's really nice, no? This one.
I'm absolutely loving it as well. And, you know, Jhen, it's really awesome to kind of hear that you're still on that blogging journey. And, of course, to hear your support for TFC as well. You know, we're both kind of a bit of, if you like, we like all the Capamilia celebs. And I know you've got to meet some, and I've got to meet more.
That's one thing we have in common. We love the Capamilias. I'm also a big fan of all the ABS-CBN shows here in the Philippines, and for sure in the UK you've been part of a lot of those TFC activities, concerts perhaps.
Yeah, but for me personally, it's kind of funny because I'm very lucky that I've been to watch so many shows back home in the Philippines. But not only that, in the UK, I've been to One Capamilia Go. I've been to ASAP in the UK, which I'm very grateful for. I've been to ASAP back home in the Philippines. You know, I love Filipino culture. And predominantly, this show is about Filipino culture, you know, and Filipino celebrities, Filipino movies. I watch all the movies on Netflix. You know, I'm a massive fan of the Philippines, and I know you know that very much, Jhen.
Yes, I saw all your photos. You beat me with all the Kapamilya stars.
All of them, to be honest.
With your selfie.
Yolo and Liza Soberano, and you know,
Oh,
Liza
yeah.
follows me on Instagram, so that's like really cool.
So you beat me on that.
No,
It's
but
really
you
nice
know,
to be involved, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it gives us like some sort of entertainment.
But also, I think the important thing is it reminds us of back home in the Philippines. You know, we'll go back to the issue with nurses. There's a lot of Filipino nurses over here who come from back home in the Philippines. They leave their families. They have no connection with the country. And yet when they come to the UK, you know, they need that connection, whether it be through YouTube, whether it be through Netflix. You know, you can't get away from the fact that there's so many Pinoy nurses who can't go back home for the pandemic. They haven't been home now for 2 years, and it might even be 3 years. And, you know, as you say, they're cut off, they feel lonely. I'm also involved with the Philippine Nurses Association, just to give them a shout out. I'm the ambassador of goodwill for Philippine Nurses Association UK, and they provide an excellent platform in a way of interacting and a way of learning from each other. I'm sure you're familiar with them with yourself, Jhen, but you know, I really want to shout out to the Pinoy nurses. But of course, as we said, you know, we need to have that connection with the Philippines, and of course celebrities, TV, etc. gives us that connection with back home. Yeah, anyway, moving on. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll see you when we get back for our final installment of Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlan.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Spoon and rice, this is really, as I've said, the most authentic place to come for Filipino street food. Spoon and rice. Hi guys, thanks very much for joining us again. We're in the last installment of this episode of Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlon. Thanks so much to World Remit, Comfort Healthcare and Spoon and Rice. Josh, it's over to you. We've really enjoyed this show, haven't we?
Yeah, so much that I actually forgot that I had an issue with my internet connection earlier. As you can see, I'm in a very unconventional setup for the night show because I have internet problems, but that didn't stop me from being still part of the show tonight. We're seeing a lot of innovation lately, a lot of technological innovation, and we're taking advantage of that. So that's why I'm still able to join tonight's show. So Mal, earlier today we've actually shared to the rest of our audiences the story of Jhen and how she started. Now let's talk about how Jhen's life is now that she has her own family, and how often have you been to the Philippines as a family of your own, and what's the adjustment like? Because a lot of our audiences are also adjusting to not being able to really go home during this pandemic. So how have you adjusted, Jhen, and how often have you been there in your hometown?
Yeah. I think I'm still adjusting because I recently had my son last September, so that was last year. So I have a 3-year-old and a nine months. Hello.
So a toddler, 9 months.
I think something's wrong. You're all gone
so-
to my page.
Okay, we're still on though.
Oh, you're still
if our
on, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on. So if our audiences are still tuned in, so we're still having this conversation. So Jhen has been recently blessed with a 3-year and 9 months old baby. So Jhen, how did that change the dynamics of your own family? Did you make a lot of adjustments, like the plans of going home, plus the pandemic in the
Yes, we're actually, well, obviously, it's a blessing that we have my little one, but we are actually looking forward to go home last February, but then it was postponed because of all this travel restrictions. So we tried to reschedule it until next year na lang kasi there are lots of protocols and it's such a hassle to bring kids also now that Philippines is on the red list. So if
Yeah.
you're traveling from Philippines to the UK, you have to pay 1,750 pounds per person. That is for you to quarantine in a hotel, including swabs of the PCR test. So imagine we are 4 and we have to pay that amount of money. So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
next
a
year
huge
na lang.
expense.
Yeah. I know some people still went back home. I've got some friends, but because they needed to bring their kids here, yung mga ganon. And I mean, like if you've got to spare extra 1,750 per person, it's fine. But it's really, really expensive to go back home. And for our safety na din, because we were traveling with kids, so it's better to be safe that na we are here.
We're sure you've already been
Can I
vaccinated.
just say, Jen, I think the other issue as well is not only have you got to pay the 1,750 per person, you've also got to get a massive amount of annual leave as well, because of course
Oh, yeah.
you've got to quarantine for so many days. So even if
Yes.
you normally go back home, say for a week or for 2 weeks, it could
Mhm.
easily be in excess of a month. So that's the other big hurdle, you know, even
Exactly,
though
yeah. So
8,000, you've also, and also your 1,750 doesn't include the 3 swab tests as well. So,
yeah,
so realistically, and then not only that, it's all about insurance. You know, the
yeah.
question is, would you get insurance if you're going to
Mhm.
a red list country?
Of
So,
course, you need to get an
unfortunately,
insurance. Oh, and I forget to mention, we are not OFW, so we have to pay for our hotel.
in the
So
Philippines.
in the Philippines,
And
yes.
that's
And
another 20,000 each on top of that. If you include the hotel, the
oh,
quick
yes,
swab test back home in the Philippines, you know, it's very
exactly.
expensive. So
So
unfortunately, it
20,000
means
for
you've
my
got
husband and 20,000 for me,
Hmm.
because if you are couple, you're not allowed to stay in one room. You need to
Hmm.
be separated, and you need to get at least one children each parent. So it's really difficult.
It's really hard. And you know what? I hope that does change. I
Mm,
understand the reason why the Philippines wants to protect itself. You know, if you
mhm.
look at the number of cases back home in the Philippines, there are a lot less than in other countries. And, you know, I
Yes.
fully respect the situation out there. I fully
Mm,
respect what the government is trying to do to keep people safe.
yeah.
But of course, it's a real challenge, and it means so many Filipinos haven't seen their family now for more than two
Mm,
years, and I know that's
mhm,
very, very hard. And I'm sure you would
mhm.
agree, Jen.
Yeah, that's why I said to my husband, okay, we can just postpone this one. But I'm glad that we can go somewhere tomorrow, because that would be our very first family holiday. At least it's easing now here in the UK, so maybe we will remain to travel here in the UK at least. Um, but going back to Philippines would not be until next year.
Yeah, of course. Josh, what's it like back home in the Philippines right now? How is it in terms of cases, etc.? Josh, are you still there?
All right. I lost connection, but I think you asked a question about the cases here in the Philippines.
Correct.
You know what, man? We're still trying to really get caught up with the vaccination, because like the issues with the supplies of the vaccine doesn't really help so much in really ramping up the vaccinations. We're seeing some spikes in areas like other neighboring provinces, and also just recently cases in Cebu are starting to spike up, unfortunately. So we're seeing that people are trying to live a normal life, back to normal life. So it
Mhm.
kind of removes those worries that there's a pandemic, but it is bringing some negative effects, because
Mm.
people aren't too cautious as we were a few months back. So we might see some spike of cases because of that.
Exactly. I'm looking at all the comments we've been receiving, Josh and Jen. You know, there's so much for support for you guys. And of course, from JJ Jimenez, a shout out to him, to Marjorie Whitaker, to Dennis Mercado, a shout out to Dave, my good friend Dave Caton, to Jerica Perez Ferry, to Nick Bonus. So many people out there, and I'm sure you'd like to greet people as well. Do you have any messages for everyone watching?
Oh yes, can I greet my friend Jerica Perez Ferry? She's in America, so she's watching right now. Hi Tart, thanks for watching. Yeah, Marjorie is also my friend, so we're workmates as well in the hospital. Hi Tart, another Tart. My Ate Dorsey, oh, happy birthday. That's her. It was her birthday, I think, last weekend with Chloe. And who else is here? Kuya Jay. Hi, Kuya Jay, Ate. And everyone else who's watching here. So nice to see you. And my mom, I think she's watching outside.
Wow.
And she's looking after my two kitties.
Oh, bless. How can people follow you on social media as well?
Sorry, what's that, Malcolm?
How can people follow you on social media and to see your blogging, your YouTube? Can you go ahead, please, and let everybody know?
Oh, yes, please. For everyone watching, you can follow me on Instagram. It's called Hey, it's Mrs. Florida. Just no space. And on YouTube, it's also the same. Hey, it's Mrs. Florida.
Awesome. So Josh, any final questions as we continue with today's show? I'm not sure if we have connection with Josh.
I think I'm having issues with my connection right now, but if my audio is coming through,
It is, and actually, in fact, Josh, you know what? I'm watching the feed, and actually, we can be seen perfectly on the screen. Just to let you know, we have this thing for people who don't know the tech, where we can normally watch ourselves, and we seem to have lost that facility. But I'm also monitoring the output, and I can see you perfectly clearly, Josh. So whatever it says on the screen, just fire away, just carry on. Any more questions, Josh, from you?
I guess, Jen, thank you so much. I just really want to thank you for sharing your story. Though it doesn't happen every day. You don't get to really share your story online, and just thank you for opening up and giving inspiration to Filipinos who may have the same story as you, or who may find your story inspirational to them. So, Jen, maybe just some words of encouragement, a bit of a public service, because here in the Philippines, because you may have some followers who may be encouraged to really get vaccinated. So what was your experience when you got vaccinated in the UK, and how would you like them to be encouraged further to really help people to get vaccinated, for us to be back to normal, for you to be able to come back home freely?
Yes, so yeah, I've seen a lot of issues regarding vaccination, and I really wanted to raise awareness. Of course, number one, sa mga kababayan natin, wag kayong matakot. Don't be scared to be vaccinated, because kasi I've been reading some articles, sabi magiging zombie pa. It's not true. You're not gonna be zombie after having that. And it will protect you with the virus, but it doesn't guarantee you that you will not get the virus. You will still get the virus, that's a fact. But at least you're protected. You will not get the symptoms, yung very severe symptoms ng virus, because like us, we had COVID before. That was December, and it was really, really difficult. And when I had the first dose, I never felt anything. And then when I had the second dose, I had not a bit of temperature, and I was chilling, but after that, I just had paracetamol, and I think after a day or two, I'm okay. So just you know that this is for you, this is for all of us, and we can do all of this together. So wag lang kayong matakot na magpa-vaccine, because this will benefit all of us.
Right. Huwag matakot, magpa-vaccine para makabalik tayo sa normal, so that we can go back to our lives without restrictions. Thanks so much, Jen.
Yeah. You're welcome, Josh. I'm really happy being here in your show. And also for Malcolm, thank you so much for having me today.
And of course, it's live as well. And it's kind of, some people get nervous. I get nervous myself. But once we start the show, we can have these relaxed conversations.
Yeah.
I hope we can also visit Filipino restaurants again soon. I know we can in the UK, but I mean around Europe as well. And I really want to tour all the Filipino restaurants. That's going to be my next kind of mission. So hopefully we can maybe make a blog together as well, or maybe make a YouTube together. I very much look forward to that.
Oh yes, me too. I hope we can bring Josh in the UK as well next time.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Well, virtually we can all be together. We can Josh could be at a restaurant in Cebu, and of course you had a very special visitor to Cebu recently as well, obviously a certain mayor, but again, that's politics, and we don't cover politics. But then even so, kind of nice that Cebu is such a progressive city, and I know people from around the Philippines would also like to visit Cebu as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the lechon in Cebu is nice.
And our lechon, by the way, is African swine flu free. So we are the only, I guess, some of the or one of the few areas in the Philippines who never who doesn't have the African swine flu case. So our
Wow.
lechon, our pork here is ASF free. So
Wow.
that's what we are. That's
That's
what we are
really
at.
awesome to hear. I wanted to read a message from my good friend Dave Caton, and it's to Jen. I'd personally like to thank you and other Filipino OFWs who have sacrificed so much to give hope to others suffering this pandemic. Keep safe, and soon, hopefully, all OFWs and Filipinos will be able to return back home. You know, just to pick up on the point that so many nurses, so many healthcare workers from the Philippines have really been heroic in terms of battling COVID, not only here in the UK, but around the globe. You know, the late His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, many decades ago, or at least a decade ago, spoke about Filipino nurses, as did Prince Charles, as did Her Majesty the Queen. What can you say about that? And I'm sure you've read these messages as well. So, Jen, I think we'll go back to you.
Oh yes. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't hear that, Malcolm.
No, sorry. So, as I was saying, Her Majesty the Queen has acknowledged Filipino nurses, as has Prince Charles, as had His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh more than a decade ago. What can you say about that and the importance of Filipino nurses here in the UK?
Oh yes, I was really honored when I hear that one and when I saw that speech from them. They acknowledge Filipino nurses, and you know, Filipino nurses are all hardworking, and we're not. I think because we are doing it naturally as well, like to take care of other people. So I'm really proud to be one of the frontliners as a Filipino health worker, that we are able to serve other countries. So um, I'm really happy and proud that we are being recognized, especially here in the UK.
Exactly. Josh, any final words from you before we sum up today's episodes?
Yeah, just a point on that. Such recognition from very important people, such as the royal family, should not be dismissed, and it should be something that we Filipinos should be proud of. And thank you for highlighting that, Mal and Jen, for that. So just a final thought. We are still. I guess we were wrapping up this week. We are now half of the year, on the second half of the year.
Yes,
We're still in the
gosh.
so,
Time flies so quickly. My goodness.
like, ang bilis ng panahon at here in
Oo
the
nga.
Philippines in a few weeks. We will eventually hear a lot of the Christmas songs happening because we are nearing the air months. So we
Especially
might
sa
start.
Philippines.
I'm just waiting for Jose Marie Chan to pop up once again on my Facebook feed.
I know, Malcolm. In the UK, we don't hear that as much.
Yeah, exactly. We've got so many great comments, you know, from people, and I know JJ Jimenez has sent his best wishes to all the Filipino nurses here in the UK. He's one of the members or leaders of the Philippine Nurses Association UK. He's inviting all of your colleagues to join as well. You know, I think it's unity in numbers. You know, I think we really need to fight. This is not only about Filipino nurses. This is about recognizing the importance of all healthcare professionals within the NHS. And I know any group that celebrates that, I know, is much welcome. And for the new Filipino nurses here in the UK as well, you know, I think they need the support. And I think this organization helps people basically to know more about what it's like to be a nurse in the UK. I know Manong George does a lot of great work as well with new nurses, and I know he helps us as well. Anyway, Jen, any final words from you before we end this episode?
Yes, I just wanted to add that one, that to all the nurses who wanted to join PNA UK, because I am not a member myself, but it will be very helpful, especially for those who wanted to come here, because I've got a lot of friends who are still in like for example in Saudi or in the Philippines, who wanted to come here and wanted to ask the process. So I think maybe if we have the link where they
Mm.
can join, um, to Kuya JJ, maybe you can send the link later, and then I can also share that link away.
Uh,
And yeah,
mm.
so
Yeah.
I wanted to obviously say thank you to all who watched today. I hope that my story inspired you, and it's not difficult as long as you've got supportive family, as long as you've got supportive friends when you're abroad. Keep doing the things that you love, and being a mom doesn't hinder you from doing the things that you love. You can still reach your goals. Keep praying and stay strong, and I am also praying that this pandemic will be over soon so we can, how will I say, travel and we can do more, and we will all get back to normality. And PS, don't forget to be vaccinated. Then don't be scared. Ang dami ko nung last words.
No, it's great. Thank you so much for joining us. And this has been a really lovely chat. And, I know we've included a lot of important issues here as well in terms of telling people about the vaccination program, both
Yeah.
here and in the Philippines. And I know we've spoken about TFC, we've spoken about the Filipino community, we've spoken about vlogging. This has been a really enjoyable episode. Just to
Thank
let
you so
everybody know, Jen, and all of the people who are watching today, if you can encourage everybody, we will also have a replay on Wednesday, 10 p.m. UK time. That's basically 5 a.m. Philippine time. But of course, all of these episodes are always on YouTube. But not only that, there's going to be a replay on YouTube as well. So all of our shows are permanently on YouTube for people to watch back. And of course, we've been going for a year now, which is absolutely awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Josh, let's wrap up today's episode.
Yeah, a very, very fun episode because I'm also in a very unusual setup for today's episode. So thank you so much for tuning in, for always supporting Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlan, where you get to share and you get to hear stories of Filipinos who are in the UK or around the globe from where you are if you're in the UK. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for those other Filipino overseas workers around the globe, you can share the story, share this Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlan. This might just be your story next. Thank you so much, Mal.
That's awesome. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for driving to the top of the hill so that you would get a better signal. I was kind of a little bit worried there. I know you were kind of worried yourself, but it's all worked out in the end. So really, until next week, we'd like to thank you. Thanks so much again to our sponsors. And of course, we're just going to play out our last final adverts, etc. And basically, we're going to really appreciate what everyone's doing in terms of Pinoys, and we'll continue to do that from our show. So until next week, maraming salamat po at mabuhay Pilipinas.
Hey everyone, be sure to watch Pusong Pinoy with Malcolm Conlan, a close friend of mine, and I'm sure this show is gonna be great. I can't wait to guest on it myself, so be sure to watch and subscribe, and always like every video and hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss a video. Peace out.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Spoon and rice, this is really, as I've said, the most authentic place to come for Filipino street food. Spoon and rice.